So, padded cell, downtown still. I was fucked within the padded cell. They made me think that the audio was fucked up. Like I kept, suddenly when I was talking to them or talking to myself, it sounded like my voice was doing this and blah, blah, blah. And I thought they were taking my audio through the mics or something and broadcasting it back to me like modified, like modulated or something. Now I know they were just pushing it through probably voice to skull in a modulated manner. And if you've used voice to skull or whatever technology is similar to that, I really need you to speak up, because people are misusing this technology, and you need to let people know that like it can be used to put thoughts into people's heads subliminally, and it can be used to control the voices that are coming out of their mouth, or manipulate them to a certain extent so people are saying what you want them to say. At one point in time, they give you bologna sandwiches like every meal of the day for the first 3 days you're in jail downtown. I wasn't there for, I think I was only there for a couple of days, but they give it to you in components, so everything's wrapped up individually, and you have to make your 2 bologna sandwiches. You unwrap the cheese and the bologna's together in its own container. And I unwrapped the cheese, and the cheese got pushed out of my hand. And I unwrapped the other cheese, it got pushed out of my hand too onto the floor. I think it happened with the bologna slice too, and I just threw the back against the wall in frustration. That's important, because if you look at the footage, it probably doesn't look super obvious. It probably looks like, oh, I just dropped the cheese on the floor. But it literally was pushed out of my hand when I'm doing this. It was literally pushed away. I'm not that clumsy. And plus it was pushed away onto the floor. It didn't just like drop straight down. It was like, it got pushed a little bit. I got transferred to another padded cell when they moved me to Del Valley, because they move you to Del Valley outside of Austin, usually within a couple of days. And they kind of fucked with me there a little bit too. There was that in my junk in downtown. I can't remember if they did it at the Del Valley or nudging it a little bit. Here's the thing. I can't remember if I put this in the last video or not. If this is like my crotch, and someone's doing this and nudging your penis and like literally getting it to move a little bit, and you're not getting excited or anything like that, you know when someone touches your body. You definitely know when someone touches your private parts. So I did a pre-outcry. I spoke to a woman sergeant there. I told her about the numbers thing too, about how the woman downtown wrote the number of numbers wrong. She asked me for the little piece of paper for proof of that. I didn't have it anymore, because when I put it in the padded cell, they take everything, they put it like there, and it got washed with my shirt and lost. Then I got moved to HSB, Health Services Building, Unit B. That's where they put a lot of people when they don't know if you're crazy or not. So they put you in there to like, you know, to file people. Half those guards or officers in there need to be fired, because they treat people like shit in there. And then they moved me to Unit F in Building 12, 207B, I believe, the top bunk. I was also in 207B when they moved me from F1 to F3. So it was half the time I was in F1, and the other half of the time I was pretty much in F3. I wasn't so zapped so much. Occasionally they would burn my throat. I felt like on the inside my throat was like on fire. They did a high frequency noise, and it felt like there was like the emergency broadcast system coming through the vent. My cellmates heard that too. It was very annoying. When they moved me, not so much. Then sometimes it sounded like I heard like a faint Pac-Man music, and they're playing it right now, or Centipede music. And they kept saying like, "No one's coming for you. Robin's not coming for you." Because I asked Robin to come out there. My lawyers thought that it was a bad arrest, and he said that he was going to get me out with my own money. But he wanted to do a competency exam. He also said that rushed speech is a sign of schizophrenia, and that's not the first time I've heard that. Again, people don't get schizophrenia at 41 with no history of mental illness, without any sort of trauma to them. That doesn't happen. That's a fact. I mean, it might happen as an outlier, but I did not get schizophrenia and fibromyalgia and psychosis and paranoia, and also get the gift of ESP to foretell the future, the gift of ESP to like see things that aren't within my field of vision to see, or to glean email addresses out of thin air when my account was hacked. And I didn't also experience poltergeist at the same time, when like the drink gets knocked off the table, the very dresser where the camera is right now. So I met with this asshole psychiatrist. Drew Phipps was my lawyer, And another guy had Drew Fitzgerald, the lawyer, and saw the same asshole psychiatrist. And I'll name the psychiatrist eventually, but that psychiatrist should not be practicing psychiatry. He's an asshole, and he goes off on people, and he's rude. And he told the one guy, like, you're incompetent, like, whatever, you're going to go to ASH, Austin State Hospital. They call it ASH. Homeless people don't mind going to ASH necessarily, because it's like all you can eat, apparently. You can order out. If you have relatives, they can order you food. They can visit you. You can have visitors there. But here's the thing. I'm competent. So, you would find it very surprising, probably, how easy it is to be found incompetent when you're a competent person. By the way, if you don't believe any of the shit that I'm telling you, you think I'm a crazy person, you're ignoring a lot of facts, and you're ignoring the fact that, like, that doesn't happen to people at 41 years old, typically, without, like, a trauma, super intense trauma to them, or blow to the head or something like that. And even then, that's probably more of a neurological thing and not a mental illness. But competency has nothing to do with whether or not you're crazy. You can be the craziest motherfucker in the world. And as long as you, like, understand the basics of the legal system, you're competent. I'm highly competent. I'm a very humble person, but, like, most of you are competent. Even if you don't understand the legal system, that could be explained to you very quickly. I met with this asshole psychiatrist, as did another person that was in my unit in F1, who I actually saw in my last incarceration, coming back from Austin State Hospital, or ASH as they call it, and looked doped up as a motherfucker. He did not look like he had been through an improvement. He looked like he got put on a lot of drugs that he didn't necessarily need. I'm not an expert. I don't know his case in particular, but he was a fine, normally acting person for the few weeks that I saw him the first time. And the second time I saw him when he came back from Austin State Hospital, he looked like a slow-moving vegetable. And that was really weird. But he got found incompetent, and he wanted to be found incompetent because a lot of people don't mind going to Austin State Hospital, because you go there for like 4 months and it's all you can eat. You can have people order you takeout. You can order takeout if you have money. You can have tablets in there. As long as they don't have cameras on them, I think you can have tablets in there. You can communicate with the outside world, I believe. You can have visitors. A lot of people don't mind that, especially homeless people. It's a lot better than jail. I wanted to get the fuck out of there. I didn't belong in jail. I wanted to get on with my life. I wanted to see my dog Max and my cat Sprite, and, you know, the few friends that I was still socializing with, which is almost down to zero. My lawyer, Drew Phipps, but you're an asshole, Drew Phipps. That's the same lawyer and the same psychiatric pairing that the other guy had. He was going to bail me out. And Robin, I do apologize for putting like retard on those envelopes, or stupid or whatever. Like come on, stupid. Like, it's easy. Come get me out of here. You could have gotten me out of there. There was not a hold on my account till near the end of December, near the end of the New Year's, when I got a hold put on me. That's why I was so frustrated. My lawyer said he would get me out with my own money. I was willing to put up the entire bail money, which, by the way, if you put up your own money and you're an hour late to court, you forfeit that entire money. If you go through a bail bondsman and pay the 10% or whatever they arrange with you, and they put up the whole money, they have at least 2 weeks to find you before their money is forfeited. That's bullshit. We shouldn't have bail bondsmen anyway. DC seems like they have a very promising, not just promising, but a very successful program without using bail bondsmen. It should be illegal. We're one of the last countries in the world, in the modern world, that has a bail bondsman system. I think there's one other one. They want me to say New Zealand, but I'm not sure if that's correct or not. But, so he had this asshole psychiatrist that saw me, and whenever I find the guy's name, I'll put it in the description. This guy shouldn't be practicing psychiatry. But my lawyer said that, like, rapid speech was a sign of schizophrenia. I mentioned that earlier. When you have a lot of information to get out, when no one's listening, when you're not able to talk to anyone, and you're finally before a professional, and you have a lot of information that you want to give to them, you might have rapid speech. So, and it's not that was the first time I'd heard about that, but it wasn't the last. I heard it from counselors too, and psychiatrists too. You need to remove rapid speech away from red flags for schizophrenia. A lot of people talk fast. A lot of people are fast talkers, especially when they have a lot of information when they're getting out, when they're trying to get, like, out of the 10-minute, trying to get a lot of information in 10-minute chunks, or when they have very few precious minutes to speak with you, and they want to, like, get a lot of information out. When someone isn't supposed to be there and they're not being helped in the correct way, they're going to probably talk fast to you. They may not, but like that is not a sign of schizophrenia. Maybe schizophrenia people talk fast too. I've always been a fast talker when I have a lot of information to get out. But that's just bullshit to use that as a red flag. Oh, they're talking fast. Maybe they have schizophrenia. I'm also 40. I was also 41 years old or 42 years old at the time. 41 years old at the time, and didn't have a history of mental illness before. So it's likely I'm not schizophrenic. That's very rare, if ever, for that to happen. And that's a fact. I had to look that up myself. The age of onset for schizophrenia is typically 15 to 25 years old. For most mental illnesses, except for like, you know, mood disorders, you know, things related to trauma that happen, and then like aging things, which might be more of a neurological thing than a mental illness. But I saw the psychiatrist, and he was asking me questions about competency. He was like, "Would you be willing to plead insanity?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know if I would consider or not, because I haven't. My lawyer thinks it's a bad arrest, and it is a bad arrest, and he thinks I'll get off. So we haven't even talked about that." And I was worried that, like, if I said no, then I would be found incompetent. But I didn't say no. And then I said, like, well, is insanity even an allowed defense for my charges? And that shows a high degree of competency, because just because you have a charge on you doesn't mean you can always plead insanity to it. It doesn't mean you can plead certain types of defense to it. In some cases, like, certain defenses are not allowed. Like, they won't even allow you to use that as a defense or present that to a judge or present that to a jury. And it's not even allowed. Or even if it does get out, they're not allowed to consider that. So he was like, "That's a very good question." And it was a good question. And he was like, "Well, I'm not sure." And then he's like, "Well, I'm going to say you're incompetent." He's like, "Well, when are you going to get on with your life and like stop fucking around and get a job and shit?" And I was like, "Why is this guy coming down on me?" So he kind of kicked me out, and he said, "You're definitely competent, but like, I don't know about this other stuff," because he saw all the crazy shit in the reports. Not from anything that I had said to him at all. I didn't mention any of that shit, or even talk about it. We didn't talk about it. 2 days later, my lawyer, Drew Phipps, asshole who should be disbarred, was like, "Well, we're going to say you're incompetent." So basically, I was going to be stuck at Austin State Hospital for 4 months. And you might be waiting a month or more for the bus to go there. I know that there's one guy in there that was like, he was literally waiting for like at least a month or 3 weeks at least. Before I got out, or before like he got moved. I don't even think he still got on the bus for it. You could be waiting weeks or months to get on a bus to go there, and then you still have to come back and then fight your case. So Tom, Dad, Robin, like, I would have been stuck in jail for almost a year possibly, because it would have been 4 months plus, I don't know, 2 or 3 months to be waiting for a bus. So that's like half a year. I was already in there for like a month, I was already in there like a month, and then I was stuck in there another month and a half. So I would have been there 3 months. I would have been there like 9 months minimum, probably. This is why our bail bondsman system we need to get rid of it. Our court system needs to be overhauled. We need to stop putting people in jail for things that they didn't do. And even for other things they shouldn't be put in jail for. They should be got out and put into programs, or like talk it out or something. Or just left alone. Then I hired, I paid $17,500 to Bruce Fox. Bruce Fox, you're kind of a dick too. You didn't represent me. You got me to jail really fast. He had a psychiatrist see me very fast, and then got me like before a judge, in the next week or two. And so I got, it took a few weeks, but he tried to get me out, and then he was like, "Oh no, you do have a hold on your account. We can't get you out." So he literally came with my money, like $22,500 or $23,500, I can't remember, to get me out. And then he couldn't. He sent another lawyer from his building up there. She couldn't get me out, and she was like, "Oh, he didn't do you any favors." Well, you didn't do me any favors either, Bruce Fox, except for getting me out of jail. I paid him basically $15,000 in retainer fees, which, by the way, doesn't include trial. You need to ask your lawyer that. If it goes to trial, you might have to cough up even more money, which is bullshit. He kept almost all my money, and he didn't represent me after that. He acted like he did, and I met with him a few times, but he really didn't. Just show up at court. "Oh, you were reset." Show up at court. You were reset again. "Oh, your DWI is going to get dropped." "Oh, I never said your DWI was going to get dropped. I just said that they were looking at the video and it was promising and blah, blah, blah. And like, but then this other guy said that they thought of the case. And I was like, if I'm not DWI and I passed all these tests, like, well, it's open to interpretation. Yeah, let's look at it all together. I'm not drunk. I'm not on anything. Look at that. you're a bad lawyer. And the fact that I had to plead guilty to that chaps my ass. And I think I actually have to get an SR-22 or something. Like, I have a hold on my license not suspended, but I can't get another one until I do something, which I haven't looked into yet. So I was stuck in there for 2.5 months. And they were fucking with me a little bit. They fucked with the cement like they do out here. That they made it look like there were projections on it, like sketch drawings. And I had cellmates that witnessed that. I had another cellmate that said, like, he set up one time and it looked like there was like an invisible or like